Thank you so much for spending your Saturday night with us. I'm Matt Holzaffel. As the unofficial start of summer kicks off this Memorial Day weekend, coronavirus restrictions have loosened in all 50 states, but there are concerns that a spike in cases could follow. CBS News correspondent Michael George has the latest from New York.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo shared some overall good news about efforts to flatten the curve.
The number of lives lost is down to 84.
That marks the first time since March the number of daily coronavirus-related deaths in the state has fallen below 100. New York has now loosened restrictions on small gatherings. Around the country, many tourist destinations are welcoming visitors again this Memorial Day weekend.
We're 100% occupied all the way until Monday.
Jerry Dye is a laid-off restaurant manager visiting Panama City Beach, Florida from Nashville.
Having to stay at home and having to worry about this and that. When am I going back to work? And now things are starting to become a little bit more clear.
In Kansas, people can go bowling and to the arcade again with loosened coronavirus restrictions.
As soon as we found out that they were opening today, we knew we wanted to come.
Part of me says it's going to be super busy because people want to get out and enjoy themselves and have a good time. And then there's a part of me that says also that, people are still social distancing and want to stay at home.
Social distancing rules will be enforced in Huntington Beach, California, where officials are expecting large crowds.
What we're asking people not to do is to plan on coming down with their cooler and their Easy Up and plan on staying all day just sitting around sunbathing.
Up north in Sacramento, protesters rallied at the Capitol against Governor Gavin Newsom's stay-at-home orders, calling the event Liberty Fest. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
And more than 1.6 million coronavirus cases in the U.S. have been confirmed, and the death toll is approaching 100,000. Well, no outfit is complete without a mask these days, and the new normal of masks has become an added barrier for deaf and hard of hearing communities. But how deaf and blind schools are learning to adapt and cope with the challenge is a different story. MTN's Caitlin Boycell takes a closer look.
You need to be around a peer group.
At the Montana School for Deaf and Blind, they rely a lot on expressions and social interactions with their community. But these days, having to wear a mask all the time makes communicating a little bit difficult.
You will find that many of our deaf and hard of hearing students, as well as maybe staff, rely on lip reading, but also that their language has a high level of expressions, and when you can't read the expressions off the person conveying the message face, a lot of communication could be misinterpreted from each other.
One teacher, Tara Donovan, explained she can speak with her friends through social distancing, but when a mask is on, it gets in the way.
So the masks, I feel pretty stuck. I feel like I'm totally missing out on what's going on with the masks. It's really hard for me. If I'm having a mask too, then it's hard for other people to understand too, because you're missing the part of the language that's in the facial expressions and on the face, and so you end up having to gesture more, and it's less language and more pantomiming and stuff in it. But I guess this is like the new normal. Hopefully not forever.
Brenda Lemieux teaches life skills at the school, and she says these kids are missing out on prime education being stuck at home.
They might be able to give them some basic signs, some basic communication, but the home communication is limited. It's not all parents and siblings can sign well.
She also says she just wants things to go back the way they are.
I really miss my kids. I really miss them being here. I miss seeing my staff for the supports and the socializing, but mostly I miss my kids.
Reporting in Great Falls, Caitlin Boycell, MTN News.
And the Montana School for the Deaf and Blind is expected to reopen in the fall. Well, speaking of masks, throughout the pandemic, people have learned to adapt in incredible ways. That's certainly true for one local woman who's gone from running a home daycare to sewing and sending masks all over the country. MTN's Megan Mannering has the story.
Normally, Vita Anderson runs a daycare out of her home in East Missoula. But is anything really normal nowadays?
We closed our daycare and kept our fingers crossed that we would be able to stay afloat until we could reopen.
When Governor Bullock shut down the schools in March due to COVID, Vita and her husband knew they would probably need to put a halt to the daycare operation until at least June and find another way to make ends meet in the meantime. With years of sewing experience and a demand across the country for protective masks like these, Vita knew what she needed to do.
20 days straight of sewing 14 hours a day, no joke.
At the start, Vita was coordinating mask making and donations for a Facebook group called Crafters Against COVID-19. But once the CDC changed its recommendation for masks to be worn by everyone in public, she started selling them through her online crafting shop.
And then it just kind of took off. Then we were so busy we couldn't sew fast enough.
All of a sudden, requests were coming in from all over the country.
So we've sent them a lot to New York, Brooklyn, the Bronx. We've sent them to Florida, Texas, Indiana, a lot to California, a lot to Seattle.
And amid the chaos of what has now become a mass sewing operation, Vita has enlisted the help of her 2 teenagers and her husband, making this time even more memorable than it already is.
I taught my husband how to cut the fabric, get them all prepped that way. I taught him how to serge, the first step, and then he has got carpal tunnel syndrome now from all the ironing.
Mask by mask, Vita is determined to get her family through the pandemic.
The masks definitely have been a blessing, and they have kept us from having to go into our savings and kept us afloat without having to worry. We went from being super worried to being super busy and no time to worry.
In Missoula, Megan Mannering, MTN News.
And as we mentioned earlier this evening, so far, no new confirmed cases of coronavirus in Montana today. The total count for the state remains at 479. Well, it was a rather cool day here in Montana, but things should be heating up in the next couple days. Our Storm Tracker weather team is here to tell us more. Grant Gaudion joins us now. Grant?
Yeah, Matt, that's right. It has been a definitely cooler day today. I mean, typically we are looking at around 67 to 69 degrees. We are 5 to 10 degrees below the average. So today's high, 61 in Great Falls, 58 in Helena, up towards Cut Bank, 59 and 63 in Havre. The temperatures right now, it is chilly, at least for me it was. 50 in Great Falls, 52 in Helena, down towards Bozeman, 42, and towards Butte, 45. Up towards Havre, though, 54 degrees, and Glasgow, 52. So where are we going, though, for the next couple of days? We're going to be rising to the mid-70s by Tuesday. By Thursday, 81 degrees, and then on Saturday, 90 degrees. It's going to be a whopper, but I mean, you know what, we'll get through this. We can get through negative 30 temperatures. We can get through some 90-degree temperatures. And for our Memorial Day forecast, for tomorrow at least, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the mid-60s, partly sunny skies. And then for Memorial Day, we will stay mostly dry. Temperatures will be in the low 70s, mostly sunny to partly sunny. Coming up, I'll take an in-depth look, though, at your Sunday forecast in just a few minutes. But for now, Matt, back to you.
All right, thanks, Grant. Well, with graduation 1 week away, what better time to highlight some of the students and teachers who made this year's graduating class so successful? Tonight, MTN's Lindsay Hyatt brings you the third and final installment of Excellence in Education Student Success Stories. This special features one ambitious Paris Gibson senior and the staff that made high school feel like home.
Each year, 34 students select 2 teachers who've helped them walk the path to success to be honored by the Great Falls Public Schools Foundation.
Since the public won't be able to attend this year's ceremony in person, we're bringing their stories to you. That's 3 stories from each of the 3 high schools, 3 students, 6 teachers, and 1 excellent education.
The only one of her siblings to receive a diploma, and one of her only classmates honored as an Excellence in Education designee, Danny Hardesty never fails to stand out from the crowd.
I always wanted to have A's. I don't know why I always thought like a C, like no, I can't have a C. Like even a B was just like, I can't have a B.
She's an absolutely outstanding student, honor student in many areas. She takes a lot of pride in her culture. She is just a very, very special, unique young lady.
A proud Blackfeet Reservation member, Danny carries her culture into the classroom.
I actually come from one of the largest Blackfeet veteran families, and I think that really makes me really like stand tall. And I just always thought I wanted to make my family proud.
Danny's high GPA and higher aspirations have instilled pride not only within her parents, but her mentors as well.
I've never had a student quite like Danny who knew bits of our culture, but was so hungry to learn more about her native culture.
Danny's made an impact on us, though, too. She's a school board representative. She's a world-class dancer. She is an incredible artist. She does so many things well. We'll hear her name a lot in the future, no matter what she decides to do.
With her inner drive and many talents, her mentors at Paris Gibson are sure her future will be just as bright as she is.
I see her using her law degree to help her Native American people. I think she could really benefit her community, and I know her heart's in going back to her reservation to help there.
Danny will go wherever she wants to go. She's looking to go to school for political science. But whatever Danny does, she will do well and she'll be successful at, without any doubt.
No matter what she does, she will always have a family among the Paris Gibson faculty.
There's never really no farewells with Native Americans. It's always, I'll see you later.
It's never a farewell with Danny because she will always come back. She knows that Paris is her family, that we will support her. We have kids that come back 10, 15 years later. She'll be the same way.
In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
And Danny represents just one of 4 designated honorees from her graduating class. She and her classmates will graduate next Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Four Seasons Arena in the Montana Expo Park. Coming up, Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks continues inspecting watercraft for invasive species and is gearing up for Memorial Day weekend. I'll tell you more after the break.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. Water recreators are heading to Montana's vast bodies of water to enjoy the holiday weekend, but before setting out on the water, you must get your watercraft checked by a boat inspection station along the way. MTN's Jordan Johnson shows us how the inspectors are keeping you and themselves safe against the current pandemic while also keeping our waterways safe.
Memorial Day weekend brings boaters onto Montana's lakes and rivers, but before you get onto any body of water, you must get your watercraft inspected. However, boat inspection stops are taking extra precautions to protect boaters and themselves. Missoula County Aquatic Invasive Species Coordinator Lindsay Bona Eggman says the boat and watercraft inspectors have been following Fish and Wildlife and Parks protocol since March, which includes wearing masks, hand washing, and keeping 6 feet apart distance from the boaters. The inspectors also must do a daily temperature check before their shift, as well as write down all the symptoms they may be feeling.
It's kind of a honesty policy sort of thing. We're not, somebody's not, doing that, supervisor's not doing that, but it does kind of hold that person accountable to think about, am I feeling okay? Should I be at work?
Bona Eggman says that she hopes this protocol helps the boaters feel more secure.
Hopefully the boaters feel safe and the staff, I know my staff feels safe with the current protocols that we've implemented.
Bona Eggman also says that in the state alone, there has been 7 cases of an invasive species found on watercraft. And she says that her team has learned from the experience and is ready to inspect watercraft thoroughly.
Our inspectors they're on it. They know what they're looking for now, and they're highly alert. And so they've done a really good job of thoroughly inspecting boats and catching a few more than normal. So
Bona Eggman wants to remind all water recreators of the AIS motto: clean, drain, and dry.
And so if your boat is clean of weeds, clean of mud, if it's dry, there's no standing water. If it's been drained, the motor's been drained, the bilge, the ballast, you're going to go through the station quickly.
If you are interested in finding the nearest inspection station near you, go to cleandraindry.mt.gov. In Seeley Lake, Jordan Johnson, MTN News.
And Bona Eggman also recommends boaters keep safe by washing their hands and avoiding touching their faces while at boat stops. The Great Falls Transit District announced on their website today that fixed route transportation services will resume on June 1st. June monthly passes will be sold at half price, and all passengers must apply and wear a facial covering to access buses. Passengers with a cough or fever will be asked to not use the transit services and report to your medical provider for treatment. They ask that you contact the general manager at 406-727-0382 should you need a reasonable modification in order to use services or if you want more information on these new guidelines. The Montana Veterans Affairs Division announced a virtual Memorial Day ceremony to be aired on Memorial Day. The ceremony will include the annual wreath laying at the state cemetery, a speech by Montana Adjutant General Matthew Quinn, and more. Due to the pandemic, Montana state veteran cemeteries are unable to host in-person ceremonies, but the division will continue to honor our veterans virtually. A link to the video ceremony will be made public on Monday to view on YouTube or Facebook.
Well, as we go throughout the day tomorrow, temperatures by 10 a.m. 53 degrees, by 1 p.m. 60. Not looking at a good chance for showers, which is good news for our friends in Helena. 61 by 1 p.m. Ending the day around 4 p.m. with 65-degree temperatures. Coming up, we'll take a look at your 7-day forecast. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a pleasant Saturday evening so far. Temperatures in the Great Falls area, 50 degrees. Over in Helena, 52, just a tad warmer. Down towards Cut Bank, 5 degrees cooler at 47. In Lewistown, 46 degrees. Elsewhere, we're seeing a mix of warm and cooler temperatures. 54 degrees up in Havre. Head on down to Butte, though, 45 degrees. And out towards Glendive, 48. Out in Jordan, 50. In Glasgow, 52. And our winds, not really seeing any problems at all. Relatively calm winds, so to speak, here in Great Falls. Head on out to Lewistown, though. West winds out at 8 miles an hour. Now, over the last 3 hours, we've been looking at the bulk of the moisture out east of Lewistown, as well as over towards Glasgow, that has been pushing off towards the northeast, northeast, but we are looking at relatively calm conditions for us all. And the reason for that is because of this high pressure that will continue to move in. As it does so, we could see a few clouds tomorrow morning, but I think we're going to be looking at a partly sunny day. By the time 6 o'clock arrives, we're going to start seeing a zonal flow, meaning winds are going to be traveling kind of in a straight line. And that will allow for us to really warm up too. As the high pressure moves in south of Billings by Monday morning, we're going to be looking at a really great start to our Memorial Day. It will be nice, maybe a nice day to go out to the lake or even grill. Now, this model suggests we could be looking at a few showers. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think that we will stay mostly dry. Over the next couple of hours with our winds gusts, we're not going to see a problem with that either. 5 to 10 miles an hour on average. Possibly a few places looking at 10 to 20 miles an hour in Jordan as well as Glasgow. But by Monday morning at 5:30, still, 5 to 10 miles an hour in Great Falls, Havre, Lewistown. Helena might be looking at 10 to 20 miles an hour. It should be, though, a really nice short-term forecast in terms of our wind speeds. As far as our next week goes, just take a look at these temperatures. They are really going to be warming up. The average for this time of year is around 67 degrees. We're going to jump 20 degrees by Friday if everything still holds true by that time. And by Saturday, a lot of folks could be looking at 90-degree temperatures. And I say all of this as in, hey, we're only 28 days till summer. We are really going to be feeling that punch come later on in the work week. You can always follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook as well as Twitter and on Instagram. Tonight's lows temperatures dropping down to around 37 degrees here in the Electric City, 39 in the capital, 40 degrees in Lewistown, 43 in Hayes. Head on out to Cut Bank, 37 degrees. And then tomorrow, temperatures warming up still below the average, but at least a little bit warmer than today. 66 degrees in Great Falls, Helena, Cut Bank, 68 in Havre, and 62 degrees in Hayes. And as we head throughout the day tomorrow, 60 degrees by 1 p.m. Notice that we're looking at a lot of partly sunny skies. And for our friends in Helena, too, 61 degrees, partly sunny skies. Winds aren't too shabby either. It should be a nice day all in all. And again, so tomorrow, with it being Sunday, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the mid-60s, partly sunny skies. And for your Memorial Day, low 70s, mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. Temperatures not only warming up as we head throughout the work week, we are also going to be looking at staying relatively dry, allowing for us to really warm up quickly. And for our friends in Helena, looking at a good chance for showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday as well as Saturday, but we're going to continue on that ramp of our temperatures warming up to 90 degrees. Matt, back to you.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
The pandemic has made it so we can't hang out with friends or go out to eat as easily as before. Scientists say this whole thing is also affecting some people in a negative way in other ways. Chris Conti shows us the other side of being cooped up and ideas to help manage the pressure no matter your situation.
I'm extending my garden this year.
A once-in-a-lifetime pandemic has suddenly planted us into a dramatic shift of routines.
I've been going for a lot more walks.
Working in her garden, Mary Rose STEELE reflects on the past few months of isolation. Some days with her 3 kids and husband prove more difficult than others.
I'd say the absolute hardest part is that we can't go and see our parents, so the kids can't see their grandparents, and they're really upset about that, and they really miss them.
We built like 3 rockets. Families across the country are having to take creativity to new heights to maintain sanity. Mary Rose has taken quarantine in stride. But like many moms, sometimes she just needs a minute.
This morning I took a break. I just walked out of the kitchen and didn't say anything to anybody and just went and took a shower.
We're spending a lot more time together than we used to.
That is Craig Smith. He's a psychology professor at Vanderbilt University. Even introverts, he says, are struggling with social isolation.
Yeah, what do you want?
My son is sort of introverted, and he tells me that his biggest problem with what's changed is we never go away.
For families or couples quarantining together nearly 24/7, Craig has this piece of advice for the tougher moments.
Reach out and talk to people. And when you talk to people about your struggles, one of the things you will often learn is that other people are having the same struggles.
Staying at home means something entirely different for Andrew Connor. He lives by himself in Seattle. His kitchen is his office, is also his gym. For this 32-year-old who was always on the go, this has been a tough transition.
This is usually my dinner table and coffee table all at once.
To keep himself focused, Andrew has created lists on his bathroom mirror, reminders of things to be grateful for. It's helped him stay grounded.
It's more of like the ultimate mental test. You're forced to slow down. You're forced to think about things.
I think trying to monitor your feelings as best you can is a good thing. And if you feel that you're feeling some sense of loneliness or a sense of loss because you're not talking with someone, reach out.
I'm getting to enjoy my kids. I do love them. There are hard days, but I love spending time with them.
Managing the pressure of this pandemic often means taking each day as it comes.
Ready, set, go.
I'm Chris Conti reporting.
Friday marked the first day of the 2020 season for the World Museum of Mining in Butte. MTN's Dom Tibbetts tells us what visitors should expect and prepare for during their time there.
One of Butte's most popular tourist destinations is back up and running. World Museum of Mining Executive Director Jeanette Koff and her staff have been implementing new safety measures to meet the required guidelines on what they call a phased reopening.
Our tour capacity is greatly reduced. We've reduced it to about 1/3 of what we normally do for our tour capacity. On those tours, face masks will have to be worn by our guests. Our tour guides will have a face shield so that they can project their voices. Really hard to talk in a face mask for an hour.
Normal operations for the staff will surely look a lot different from the years past. However, the museum is happy to share a brand new tour for its guests.
We decided to start offering it to the public this year, again, because we're not opening up the whole museum. We wanted to share Butte's history and mining history. So it's really a walk through the mine yard. You go into the engine room, the original engine room of the Orphan Girl, walk under the Orphan Girl head frame, just get a little bit of an idea of the operations of a mine yard.
Like many tourist-driven businesses in the mining city, the museum is staying optimistic in hopes they can sustain operations during this tough time while prioritizing health and safety for all.
We have been on a steady incline of guests, and we had a record-breaking year almost every year of those years. We're not going to have that this year. I'm not even aiming to have that this year. My goal this year is to keep everybody health and safety, whatever those numbers may be.
In Butte, Dom Tibbetts, MTN News.
And the museum is encouraging guests to make reservations ahead of time or purchase your tickets online on their website. We're back after this.
Great. Well, here's another look at your next 7 days. We are going to be looking at staying dry for the most part here in Great Falls. Temperatures warming up, though. I mean, man, 90 degrees on Saturday. The good news is this Memorial Day looks to be dry. Temperatures around 71 degrees. And then for Helena, we're going to be looking at another dry day for Memorial Day, 71. We are expecting our next weather maker Tuesday to bring some showers and thunderstorms to your neck of the woods, but ending the week, 90 degrees on Saturday.
I feel like it was just snowing like 2 weeks ago. That's crazy. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.